Around 9,000 miles away lies a country in the Middle East called Yemen, a country that was ranked in 2012 as the 26th poorest country in the world. Yemen is known for its severe poverty that has always been ongoing. However, Yemen has recently been more infamous for making news headlines as a war-torn country, a country where severe poverty demolition continues till this day by a tribe group called the Houthis. The Houthis are a tribal group that consists of 20,000 soldiers that have taken over the country's government, and with the Yemeni army surrendering their power, Houthi militants were able to gain more power by retaining the weapons of the Yemeni army, helping them fight back against foreign countries that seek to help reform the Yemeni government, while also disallowing foreign aid to enter the country. This has taken the country to extreme conditions where the scarcity of essential commodities, such as flour, petroleum oil, and gas, have made everyday life of the Yemeni citizens even harder to survive, especially when taking into account the severe poverty that they already had to live in. Just to give you an idea of how hard the conditions are, I interviewed a family friend to gain more information on what a Yemeni person's everyday life was like. This is how he explained it to me. I woke up in the morning to the sounds of airstrikes demolishing buildings around the city. I looked out the window only to see that my neighbor's house had been destroyed while the streets were filled with panic. I quickly got my family in the car to try to escape the airstrikes in the city. However, my car was very low on fuel. While we rushed to the petrol station to fill my car up, there was an endless line of cars waiting to fill fuel. As everyone waited patiently for the next supply of petrol to arrive, I asked the person in the front of the line how long he'd been waiting for, and he said he'd been sleeping in his car for over a week. That was when I realized I was trapped in a city of havoc, and my battle for survival was only just starting. When the sun set along the horizon, the city started to fill with darkness. There was no electricity as the Houthi rebels had just demolished the power station that same day. By 12 a.m. midnight, the airstrikes began. On the chaotic streets, following the crowd of people that were all running in the same direction, I ran as fast as I could in dismay, and before I knew it, I had lost my family and the thousands of people in the crowd. As everyone started running in different directions, many eventually found their safe havens and traveled to other cities like I did, while others that were left behind suffered the consequences of the airstrikes. With no electricity, I was unable to contact my family, but had always hoped that they would end up in my grandma's house eventually, just like I did in the city of Aden. Days passed while I waited anxiously before I received the tragic news of my family's death. Although this was a short story of an individual I know, this story represents the majority of the conditions that Yemeni people continually bear with.